Hi, it's Ian Dawson from Hudson, McHugh. I'm here with Max Phelps from Golden Eggs. I'm rather excited. I have one of the first copies of a new book that Max has written.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, Ian. Yes, it is a copy of a book, but it's you'll see the cover is still very basic. It's just a draft. So at this stage, there's a few steps we go through. We write the draft, then we give it to trusted friends and colleagues to read and give us feedback on, and then that needs to get edited down before it goes to the publisher, and then the publisher will introduce their own edits before it finally goes into print in about 3 or 4 months' time.
Well, that's really very exciting, and I honestly can't wait to read it. But in anticipation, can you tell us a little bit more about what the book is about?
Sure, yeah. So the best of both worlds is about how to be awesome at saving and investing in property to retire young, while at the same time enjoying a city lifestyle and great holidays along the way.
Wow, well, I think the best of both worlds is something you've been working on, not just in the book, but also you run seminars, and it's something you've been working on for a little while, right?
Yeah, so it's it comes from my own personal journey of in finance, because I had 15 years with I grew up in a family of 9 kids with no money, just didn't want to be poor. And then I got a graduate job in a multinational, and then found that the more that I earned, the more that we spent. And it was only by kind of changing a few things around that we learned to get a better handle on things. And so we've been implementing this ourselves for the last 10 years, and we've been coaching it for about 7, but now we have specific coaching programs about the Best of Both Worlds program.
Well, I know that from my own personal experience, when we first met, and I mean, I can't remember when that was,
3 or 4 years ago? Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago, we first started having conversations around credit cards and about the 5-2 diet.
Yeah, the 5-2 money diet.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Sorry, so the 5-2 money diet is the concept is that with a minimum 5 bank accounts across 2 banks, managing money is actually really easy. Whereas less than 5 bank accounts across less than 2 banks makes managing money very difficult, and that's the position that most people are in, and they do find it much more difficult. So we try and coach people how to do that.
Well, and I think from my own personal experience, by separating it, by having more bank accounts, by following the system, I am actually able to have a holiday and enjoy it without feeling guilty.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things, is that we try and separate out the fun money that you want to spend on things like holiday, so that you actually save for the holiday separately to where you save for your future. And that way, when you go on holiday, you go guilt-free. And the first time you ever do it, it's a really great feeling to go on holiday, spend your allowance for that holiday, and just have a great time and not feel anything to do with it, and then come back with no credit card hangover, no personal loan hangover. And the same is also true of cars.
And look, I know that from my own sort of personal experience, I used to be a big advocate in credit cards and points, and racking up lots of points thinking that they were going to be super and fantastic. But I have to say, I have yielded. I've got rid of most of my credit cards, because it is true, and that is, if you've got access to it, you spend it.
Well, that's right. And credit cards give you access to money you haven't even earned yet. And we know that statistically, people spend 7 to 10% more on a credit card than they do when they've got a debit card. And yes, people get points, but those points are not worth anything like 7 to 10%. They're usually worth less than 1%.
No, I think that's very true. And one of the really good chapters in here, and I myself do it already, and I know that you are a massive property investor, but it is about property.
It is, yeah. So again, it's about how I've managed to accumulate 16 tenants over the last 13, 14 years. And I know you've got the same philosophy with building property that's cash positive, not negatively geared, so it puts money into your pocket, which actually gives you more freedom, and also potentially gives you the opportunity to retire young. I actually hit that point at 47 where I don't have to work if I don't want to, but I really enjoy this, and that's what gave me the time to write a book.
And I think it shows in everything you do. And look, this isn't really a plug for Golden Eggs and mortgage broking, but I think the amount of time and effort that you put in is purely because you love it. It's not because you have to, and I think that shows in what you do, and hence why I really can't wait to read this book.
Yeah, well, I look forward to getting your feedback because
maybe I'll change my opinion afterwards.
It's actually quite a scary thing. You write a book and you get all your thoughts, and it's got big text, but it's still quite a lot of pages to it, and you put there's a lot of my life in here, and so you might turn around and tell me my life sucks and you don't want to read about it, and that's fine. I'll just need to edit it accordingly so that by the time the final version comes out, it'll be amazing.
No, look, I really am very excited. I also would like to bring up, because I know that for a lot of people out there, they're not going to be able to read this book for, as you say, maybe 3 or 4 months. It doesn't mean they can't access some of the information that's in here.
Yeah, correct. So apart from the videos that we put out on particularly on Facebook, we also run coaching sessions. They're free coaching sessions because, again, I love to talk about this stuff. And we do them every couple of weeks, so that we've got one this Thursday in Leichhardt, 2 weeks' time in Leichhardt again, and then after that we'll be at UTS in the city, where people working in the city will have better access to come along, learn about the 5-2 system, learn about buying property strategically instead of tactically. So even when you're buying for yourself, you're thinking about your needs in 3, 5, 10, 15 years, and not just your needs tomorrow.
Well, look, I'll put a link to the meetings below, just so that people can click through, and hopefully, if you are interested, go along. But I really can't wait to read this book. And look, thanks ever so much for coming in. It's very exciting.
Thanks again for having me.
Absolute pleasure, and I'll look forward to giving my feedback.
Thank you.
Take care.